Welcome to the after-action review for the third of the Century of Kriegsspiel battles. In these scenarios, the historical source is obscured. This keeps the players from following the script created by history. Let's see how our players did and how the results compare to the historical outcome. The Second War of Italian Independence was fought by the Second French Empire and the Kingdom of Sardinia, who in this video we will call the Piedmontese, against the Austrian Empire in 1859. It was crucial in the process of Italian unification. In 1858, Napoleon III's France agreed to support the Piedmontese efforts to expel Habsburg Austria from Italy in return for territorial compensation. Piedmont and Austria both mobilized. On 23 April 1859, Austria delivered an ultimatum to the Piedmontese demanding they demobilize. They refused and the war began on 26 April. Austria invaded Piedmont 3 days later, and France declared war on Austria on 3 May. This battle occurred on 20 May and was the first of the campaign. While the Austrians sent several corps into northern Italy, the French, with their Piedmontese allies, launched probing expeditions. The Austrian Ninth Corps was sent to stop French progress on the southern end of the line. The French sent a division under Faure with squadrons of Piedmontese cavalry to probe south of the Po River. This battle occurred when those forces met, here indicated by the yellow star. Here you see the battle area with the Po River in the north and the towns of Casteggio and Montebello in the south. This was also the site of a battle between the French and Austrians in 1800 as part of the rise of the First French Empire. The area at the time was filled with vineyards and tree lines that reduces visibility, making artillery less of a factor in this battle. The French and Allied force was slightly larger than its Austrian foe, with 6,600 French and Allies in 2 brigades, and the Austrians with 6,000 soldiers in 3. The Austrians had a 3-pound artillery battery. For our scenario, we had 5 players on the French side and 4 for the Austrians. The Austrians were given the mission to keep the French from having access to the valley between the river and the towns. The Austrian CIC, played by Marshall, anchored his plan on guarding the road that runs to the river, and thus put his main effort in the north. The French CIC, played by Great Gold, chose the south as his route for his main effort. The plans almost completely offset each other. Maneuver began at 07:30 game time with Austrian cavalry patrols moving westward and French columns on the roads headed east. The Austrian brigade commanders, played by Zombor 0707 and Acadian Longago, had a mix-up about who was in the north and who in the south due to a change in the division order. This created some confusion at the start of the scenario. In the north, Austrians sent out their light rifles to screen. The Austrian brigade commander, played by Zombor 0707, where the red star is, had previously sent 1 battalion west and ordered a 2nd battalion south. The French regimental commander, played by Lerevore, and indicated by the yellow star, spots the Austrian cavalry in the south. By 08:30, the French main column was in the south moving east and the secondary column was in the center, about to come in contact with an Austrian battalion. The red stars indicate locations of Austrian human players on the board. Notice they have forces separate from them. The yellow stars are the locations of the French players. They are at the heads of their columns. This will create an advantage for them as the battle unfolds. At 0900, the Austrian cavalry commander, played by Asdem Freelancer, as shown by the red star, orders a hit-and-run attack at the moment the French riflemen crest the ridge. Casualties for the Austrians are heavy, and Asdam Freelancer is captured. The French regiment commanded by the player Park Mobile, where you see the yellow star, conducts a well-coordinated attack using fire and maneuver. French commander Park Mobile, at the yellow star, then sends a battalion north to keep the main Austrian force engaged. This is just in time, as Austrian CIC Marshall and his brigade commander Acadians Langogo have been pushing the French back in that area. The Austrian commander Zombor 0707 now sees his broken battalion coming out of the trees. In the south, the French brigade under McPanzer is now flanking the single Austrian battalion stationed at the river. The scenario concludes with a French victory. CIC Great Gold's plan has been executed exactly as he specified. Brigade Commander McPanzer and his lead regiment, commanded by Lerevore, have cleared the way for Regimental Commander Toya, here in the yellow oval, to bring up his fresh troops and continue pursuit of the retreating enemy forces. Austrian CIC Marshall and his stronger brigade, commanded by Acadians Longagogo, have kept control of the bridge in the north, but the capture of Asdam Freelancer and the retreat of Zombor 0707 have given the French the control of the southern road they need, which accomplishes their mission. Let's compare our outcome to the historical battle. Historically, the engagement opened when an Austrian brigade cleared the road west of Montebello and encountered a French brigade. The French brought up a second brigade as reinforcement and pushed the Austrians back to Casteggio. The Austrians brought up a second brigade and pushed the French back west of Montebello. And the French attacked again with additional light infantry and cavalry. The Austrians, seeing how tenaciously the French were attacking, assumed a larger force was coming behind this force and decided to retire north. There was no additional French force. The French had won the day simply by being more determined than their enemy. Historically, blue prevailed, and in our scenario, blue prevailed. Historically, the red forces thought blue was about to be reinforced and retired. In our scenario, the red were out of position to stop the main effort of the blue. Well played, and a fascinating comparison. Thank you for watching this AAR of the Battle of Montebello. I hope you enjoyed this examination of the historical outcome as it compared to the scenario. A special thanks to our players who brought the battle to life. Come join us playing Kriegsspiel, where you can make the key decisions and decide the outcome of historical battles. We'll see you out there on the board.